Hello,
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
how are you?
Good, good, good. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat. How's your day going?
It's a pleasure for us.
Yeah, good. That's good though, right?
Good. Hello, how are you?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Just happy about the new signing today and come for this weekend. Everything's going well.
Yes, and with coronavirus.
Yeah, no, like luckily I'm in New York and everything is okay here for me and my friends and family. So um I'm just happy everything's okay, but we're doing well. We're doing okay.
Good, good, great. So welcome in RCTL podcast. It's a program of live interviews of Roma Club Tunisia. We receive some people from Roma, other Roma clubs or our players. We have Julio Sergio, the ex goalkeeper of Roma, with us before,
Mm,
and we have Riccardo Fati, also an ex Calciatore Giallorosso before, and welcome with us. So to
thank you.
begin, we begin with introducing yourself to our fans.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know some of you may know me through either social media or texting or WhatsApp or anything, but my name is Scott Sandalow, and I am the director of global brand development for Roma. I started in November of 2019, but a bit of my background in what I do with Roma. So I work with our fan clubs to make sure that we're telling the Roma fan story around the world is essentially what my goal is to make sure that not only our fans, but fans of other clubs and fans of football in general see the passion and excitement and interest that Roma fans around the world have for this club and this game. Before Roma, I was actually at Bayern Munich before, and I did a similar job, but they also have a really strong community of great fans who I have developed friendships and great relationships with in the last few years. And before that, I actually worked in Major League Soccer. So I was with New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire. So I've kind of been in football for the last 10 years, but it's my life and it's my passion, and I'm really excited to be here with Roma and to be with you guys right now.
Yes, that's great. So you are a Roma fan, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before I was really into football the way I am now, I was into baseball a lot more. But so the first time I actually saw Roma was in Chicago. They were playing at a famous baseball stadium called Wrigley Field. So it was kind of like the two of my passions coming together. And that really kind of kickstarted my interest in the club as well. But I've always known about the team for the last 20 years. Like it's an iconic club with iconic players, and it's I'm very fortunate to be part of the team now.
Great, that's great. I'm too. I'm a Roma fan from now 20 years also, from the last Scudetto
How old are
with
you, if you don't
Totti.
mind? Were you a kid during that time, or were you?
You hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Were you a kid during that time in like 2000, or were you like how old were you when
Yes,
you?
it's about
Yeah.
10 years old. 10 years
Okay.
old.
Okay, we're about the same
Yes,
age then. Yeah. So I'm 33. I think that's a really good
with the last Scudetto, it was great to hear names like Francesco Totti and Gabriel Batistuta and Cafu and all of that. So it was the first time that I see Roma in television. So
yeah.
I am a Roma fan from now 20 years also.
That's great. Yeah, I think around that age when you're about 12, 13, 14, is really when you start to build your kind of affinity and identity because you're old enough to understand, but like still young enough to be kind of romantic about everything. So that was a
Yes,
really important age for me to like kind of come of age in soccer, but in general, just becoming
yes,
a fan of clubs. So for sure.
yes. And I think that's it's a real love to choose Roma from other teams when you are kinder. You see Real Madrid or to see other clubs win titles, but you choose Roma. I think it's a real love to choose Roma from other teams. No?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it makes all success even more, exciting because I'm from Chicago. I'm a fan of the Cubs, and they hadn't won for a long time. And then when they finally did again, like there's an excitement and like a passion that I really hadn't seen before from clubs that were maybe more consistently winning titles each year. So I think to be a Roma fan, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of a different kind of passion, which is something that I've really seen in my first year of being with the team.
Yes, of course. And you are a Totti fan, I guess, like us, like all of us.
Yeah, I think it's not even just all of us part of Roma. I think it's everyone who's appreciated, beautiful parts of this game, right? So I think he's one of those players that kind of transcends your fandom for a certain team or a certain league or a certain country. He's one of those guys that if you love the game of football, you're gonna love, Totti, and you're gonna appreciate what he's done for the game. So I think no matter which team you support, even if it's a rival of Roma or if you're not even a fan of Serie A or Italian football, like you can't not love him and appreciate his influence on the game.
Yes. So we do say hi to our fans from France. Amo Roma Affair, it's a website to talk about Roma in French language. It's our
absolutely.
fan. It's a great website. Yes.
We actually just did an interview with a fan today. What's up, Panini Shop? I see you. We just did an interview today with a French fan who obviously has a YouTube page as well, and I think it's really interesting to see kind of Roma's connections to French-speaking countries and France itself. And I found a lot of really passionate fans from that region, and then as well from Tunisia when I first did the interview with you guys for the website. I wasn't fully aware of how passionate the Tunisian fan club was, but seeing how dedicated you guys are and all the content you put out, I think you're a really good example for a lot of other fan clubs.
Yes, it was me that I do the interview with you. That
was great. Yes.
Yeah, it was me in the official website interview. Yes.
It was great to learn more about everything that you guys do.
Yes, and the number of Roma clubs from around the world is bigger and bigger now. It's a good thing for the picture of Roma and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the great thing about it is that wherever you are around the world, if you're a Roma fan, you're somehow home. So you're going to find a community of Roma fans wherever you happen to be. And I think the really interesting thing about it is they're getting more connected and more they're building more relationships around the world. So if you're a Roma fan in Tunisia, or if you're a Roma fan in China or the US, you're going to be able to find a group of like-minded Roma fans. And that's what we're looking to build a lot more too, is just to make sure that wherever you are in the world, if you're a Roma fan, you're not alone. And that's one of the most important things that we can work through.
Yes, but it's hard to be so far from Roma, but we do our event and we organize some events. We have a cinema event last year to watch Totti films and Totti goals together.
That's
and
great.
we see every match together. And I was in Roma this year for the last derby.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I watched Roma Lazio from Olimpico, so it was great for us, for all our club.
Yeah, I think that's good too. And another thing we're trying to do is, I watched that game. I was in Philadelphia, and then other fans were watching the game at bars or at their own houses. So like what we're trying to do too is like wherever you are around the world, we want you to feel like you're somehow connected to the Olimpico and in Rome. And I think a lot of our fans are really showing us that they're able to do that.
Yes, we have an interview before with Roma Club Washington.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing.
Yes, great. We have an interview with them before, and now we are in contact with Roma Club New York to have an interview very soon.
I love both of them. Actually, they were two of the first groups that reached out to me when I joined from Bayern. Like The first week that I was with Roma, I went to the Roma bar in New York and watched the game. And not only did they invite me to the bar, but they let me sit at their own table, and really, gave me like a scarf and a shirt and really welcomed me into the club. And DC is the same way. Like, I talk to them probably once a day on text message or on Facebook. So I've had great experiences with both of those groups. And I think those are just two of like the hundreds of stories of incredible fan clubs that we have around the world.
Yes, that's good. We have a question from our French friends. Did
Yeah.
you ever been in Roma? What did you like?
So I haven't been to Rome yet. I was all set to go in February, and then obviously with everything surrounding COVID, I wasn't able to. But the plan is to go over really soon, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. I've been wanting to go ever since I took the position. So I'm planning hopefully either later in this year, or early in the next. But I cannot wait to get to Rome and get to a game.
Great. That's great. So I want to know what is the difference between working in Bayern Munich and working in Roma? What
I
is the
think,
difference between?
yeah, I think a lot of the differences create a lot of the similarities, though. So as with Bayern, there's a little bit more of a more connected group of fans, I'd say right now, because they've been building through kind of a fan club network for the last maybe decade and a half. What we're building at Roma is a little bit more of a startup in terms of how we're working on fan engagement. But I think the things that are the same are just everyone's like passion and excitement for the fans. I think the coolest thing is if you were to go to a bar with a DC Roma club and a DC Bayern club, those people have become friends very quickly. The other thing that's a little bit different is a lot more of the Roma fans here are more native Italian than the Bayern fans who maybe adopted Bayern as their club, who are American. So using the New York fan club as an example, a lot of the New York Bayern supporters are not German, have picked the team up maybe during the World Cup or Champions League. Whereas the Roma fans, a lot of them are native Italians. So I think that's probably the biggest difference is the fan clubs across the world are more expats, where in Bayern, they're a lot more native to the countries that they're from originally. And they've kind of found Bayern in different ways, whereas the fan club members of Roma, they're kind of born into Bayern or born into Roma. So, but they have the same love for the team. So I think that's the most important thing.
Great. We see that Roma did a great job in coronavirus period in communication and website and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What to say about Roma job in coronavirus time?
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of the most challenging times I've had working in sports, because obviously we didn't have sports. The club was really forward thinking about how we were going to not only tell people stories, but really try to improve the lives of people in Italy and worldwide who were obviously so affected by everything that was going on. It's probably the most proud I've been ever of working for a team, not only raising money and giving supplies to people in Italy, but the New York fan club raised over $37,000 for coronavirus care in New York as well. So I think you can really see the power of not only Roma, but I think the global football community. It's really unlike any other sport or unlike any other company or brand. And it really made me proud to work for this club, and just how quickly they sprung into action to help not only their own supporters, but just citizens of Rome and the rest of the world. I'm really impressed by it. It doesn't shock me at all.
Yes, great. And we talk and we read in some articles and some news that Roma last years do a great job in communication and marketing. If we compare this with years before, Roma have a big progress in this marketing and communication and all of that.
For sure. I mean, even when I worked at Bayern, who I think did a really good job, we'd always kind of look to Roma's social media and say like, listen, that's kind of the benchmark, or that's the gold standard, or that's where we want to be as a club. And I think the thing that Roma does really well on social or marketing is like they make a global big club seem very approachable. So if you're looking at other global powerhouse clubs throughout the world, it seems very unattainable to be able to communicate and talk with them. Whereas if you're a Roma and you're a fan, it seems very possible to build like a genuine connection with the team, if it's players, if it's front office, or even if it's just a social media admin. I think we've made communication with a large club seem very approachable and scalable.
Great. And the number of Roma fans in America now is bigger now.
Yeah, it's been really, really successful and growing. So even since I've started in 2019, we've seen fan clubs get more organized. I've seen new clubs founded in not only North America, but in Central America, Mexico, and then in South America. So as well as even a place like Cuba where you don't normally associate football. So I think, the numbers for Roma are growing on a parallel path to the numbers that football is growing here. So if there's interest in the game, there's going to be interest in Roma because of how important of a club they are, but also just because of such a large Italian population in this country and in bigger cities. So I think, if you're an Italian person looking to get into the game, I think one of the first clubs that you'll think about supporting is Roma. And that's part of what we're trying to do, is make Roma top of mind for as many people as possible.
Great. So, Scott, before we create our club, we have talking with other Roma clubs.
Yeah.
They all talks about official Roma account in Twitter.
Yeah.
We are all in love with the official Roma account. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, again, like when I was working with other teams and you'd see the stuff that Roma was doing, you get jealous when you worked for another club, because to be able to have that freedom and that independence to post such fun and interesting content, to even be able to get to send out a couple of tweets on behalf of Roma now, makes me really proud. So it's pretty incredible with what they've done, and not only just having fun, but even with our Missing Kids campaign, when we're signing a player to try to help find children that are missing, with our transfer announcements. I think the good thing about Roma's account is it's really fun, but it's also incredibly helpful. I think, and it provides a lot of insight into not only the club, but like who we are as staff as well. So if you know the Roma admin, I think you know us really well too, and that's really important. But everyone really appreciates it, and it's a really good team that has worked very hard on establishing that voice.
Yes, and it's great for a Roma club from Tunisia or Indonesia to see the official Roma club retweet your publication, or it's great.
And the thing is, it's not that hard to do. So I don't understand why more clubs won't do it as much, but hopefully we can be an example for other clubs to kind of build the same connection with their fans. Because honestly, I think the least we can do is a retweet or a mention. This is just the beginning of what you're going to see Roma do with their fans, and it's just the beginning of what I want to do. So I expect you to see a lot more from us too moving forward.
Yes, even I talked with some friends from Morocco and Iraq and all of that. They love website interviews with Roma club from around the world in coronavirus time. It was a great idea.
Yeah, I would. You know what? Honestly, I would love to chat with Roma Club Iraq too. I'd love to get more info from them as well. So anyone that I think the important thing too is you guys are just as much of an expert on Roma as I am, and then the club is. So if there's anyone you think deserves to have their story told, send them to me, and we will tell that story, because a lot of people will want to hear it. Maybe it'll inspire them to send me their stories as well.
And this is the force of Roma, the relation between Roma and fans. We didn't see that in other teams. What important is only the results, the titles, and all of that. But the force of Roma and the love between Roma and fans. This is the the biggest thing in for Roma fan, you know.
Yeah, that's what makes the club special. And again, I think the big differentiator that we have is like it's never going to be 100% easy, but I think Roma fans stick with this team through thick and thin, and I think it'll make the victories all that much sweeter when we celebrate them together after going through different trials and tribulations for some years now.
That's great. And what's your best moment with Roma, Scott?
Honestly, so far is when I dressed up as the mascot, and one of my videos was on TikTok, and it was one of Roma TikTok's most highest viewed videos. So this was like 2 weeks into the pandemic. I went into the office and dressed as the mascot and did a dance that was actually a Drake song that was popular that came out during that week. And it was one of the most popular videos on Roma TikTok. So anytime I can be a mascot for the team is always pretty fun.
Yes. Yeah. Here in Tunisia, we are fans of Totti. You see, Totti
I hope so. I mean, yes. If you're not, then something's wrong.
Yes, Totti is behind me, and even our mask is of Totti. It's our mask for coronavirus. Is Totti.
I would love one of those masks. I will pay you for one of those. I would absolutely love one of those masks. I would wear that all over Brooklyn.
Even this is Roma Tunisia. You see,
you guys have really nice gear. I think that's what's cool about that I've seen too. Like all these different clubs are making such cool merchandise. Like each club has their own scarf or their own logo, or Philadelphia even has their own jerseys. So it's pretty cool to see what they can do. And I think another thing that we want to do too is make it easier for clubs to help create merchandise and share it with other clubs, because as much as you have Tunisia gear, I'm sure that you'd love some New York gear, or some Philadelphia, or some China. So that's another thing that we want to work on too, is like how can Roma fans not only connect through social media, but connect in wearing each other's merchandise, supporting each other's clubs. So we want to do as much of that. Also, I want all that stuff too. So it's selfishly for me as well, because I just want all this cool Roma stuff. So I'm gonna try to do that too.
Yes. Even we have the autograph of Totti here.
I don't even have that, man. Come on, you guys are doing better than me.
Yes, we have the autograph of Totti here.
That's great.
It was for us in January. We see him after his game with the Totti Sporting Club.
Oh, right.
Yes, it was a great time.
Well, I got to make sure that I can send you guys autographed jersey of a new player, or someone who's on the team now, so to add to your collection.
Yes, if you can help us, it was a great thing for us. Yes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yes. Even Roma Club Philadelphia do a great work in masks and T-shirt and all of that. We see that in Instagram. It's a great job from Roma Club Philadelphia also. For
sure, absolutely. And I think there's so many more that do such a good job too.
Yes. So Scott, it was a pleasure for us to be with you tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's a real pleasure for us, and thank you very much. And we're still in contact. Of course. And we will repeat it again.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Scott. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
For us.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Forza Roma.
Bye-bye. Forza Roma. Bye.